Welcome back, everybody. It is the Mlb Dfs show back here for Game 6 of the World Series, potential closeout game for the Dodgers. I'm Jake Hari, joined by you guys know who, Team McBee, Terry McBride. What's up, man? How's it been?
Doing pretty good, buddy. A little early in the day for me. I got up, crashed last night during the football game, woke up in the middle of the night. Now I've been up, took a little nap, and I don't know where I am in my clock at this point. It's so messed up and upside down, but glad to be here talking baseball with whatever time it might be. Yeah,
for sure. This might be the last time that we're on the show. Last time anybody's on the MLB strategy show. Someone's saying happy birthday to me. Not my birthday. Although Game 6 of the World Series, I guess it feels like it, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. Why not?
Yeah, and a very winnable game. So we might have a Game 7 tomorrow. I think it's decently likely we have a Game 7, according to Vegas. It's about a 47% chance, according to this Vegas line. I'm honestly surprised that Snell's not favored here. I know how dangerous this Dodgers offense has been, but Snell, one of the best pitchers in the majors. Are you a little bit surprised to see this line plus 125-ish right now for the Rays?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of leaning into the idea of the Dodgers being the superpower of baseball that they are, and maybe Vegas is biting off a little bit of that. And then just maybe thinking that we might not see Snell get too deep into the game. He blew through this lineup the other day. It was the one I was way off on the strikeout props. We saw him strike out 9 of these hitters. But in the end, he only went 4 2/3 through 88 pitches in Game 2. So maybe they're thinking, hey, we chase him out of there early. The Rays move into that bullpen, and it comes back to bite them. But, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I expect a decent start from him, and I'm not going to be surprised to see a Game 7 tomorrow.
Yeah, and so, we'll have all the regular shows tomorrow. If just looking ahead, if we do have a Game 7, if the Rays can pull this one out, we'll have the strategy show and Live Before Lock. I am slated to be on Live Before Lock, so maybe one last gasp at this crazy MLB season. But if not, it's been fun, and I think we've got a good game tonight. I always love watching Snell pitch. I'm still rooting for the Dodgers to win. I can't remember where you're at as far as this series, but are you hoping the Dodgers close it out?
I'd like to see a Game 7, but I'm rooting for the Dodgers to win the series overall.
Yeah.
But just baseball-wise and for the fun of it, I'd enjoy a Game 7. Why not?
Maybe Game 7 would be the best for what I'm rooting for. If we can get Kershaw to come in for a few innings. He's pitched very well so far, so I don't want him to ruin it and potentially lose a Game 7. I'm really rooting for him to get a World Series ring, and he's pitched awesome. And so maybe potentially if he comes in, throws 2 to 4 innings tomorrow on short rest, Dodgers win, he could even win World Series MVP. So
he definitely could. What kind of nail biting would that be, though? If they bring him in, say it's in 9th inning, bring him in for a save, or bring him into a tie game, something like that. Every pitch, he's going to be edge of the seat, hoping he comes through.
And I think they're setting up for that, right? Because in Game 5, he only went 85 pitches or something along those lines. He didn't go the full 100, 110 that he can go. So I think they're setting him up to have him at least be available for potential Game 7, which is really smart managing by Dave Roberts. I know he's very frustrating for DFS, but I think they've handled him really well so far.
Yeah, it's a really sharp call, and it makes a ton of sense that that's what they're gearing up for. I'm sure they're hoping they don't have to do it, probably hoping to get out of the series today and just walk away with a win. But, yeah, to have that weapon in your pocket, not too bad. Pretty smart strategy.
Yeah. All right, guys, we will get into the game in just a second. First of all, I just want to point out we are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. They don't have MLB contests going on right now, but they do have some really good NFL contests coming up. 12.3% management fee in the 150 max 200K baller. That has 25K to first plus a 5K MGM Vegas getaway. That sounds like a pretty fun time. In post-COVID times, of course. Hopefully, that takes place once we get this figured out. But yeah, Yahoo's a great place to play because of the low management fees, paying about 3/4 or less of what you pay elsewhere, just to get entries down on the site. So that's good for your long-term ROI. They've also got really good low stakes tournaments. They got some 10 max and 25 max tournaments. They've even got a $3 150 max with a 12% management fee. You're really not going to find that kind of tournament anywhere. These other sites have gotten away from the low stakes MME. I know on DraftKings they've got the mini max, but if you're looking to pay up a little bit more, $450 to win potential 2K, nice flat payout structure. Then again, you're just not paying as much to play over on Yahoo. So go support them. They've got all the other contests, the single entries, the quarters, and everything like that. So if you're looking to grind, if you're looking to get better at DFS and help your long-term ROI, Yahoo is a great place to play NFL, especially. And I know a lot of guys on the site play cash games over there as well. And they say they face some weaker competition, not as many sharks over there. So I know Adam and Rinpack, guys like that, play over there quite a bit.
Yeah, smarter guys.
Yeah, smart guys. I need to go play on Yahoo more.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I haven't been over there enough. I keep saying that I need to get there, but I'm not as sharp as those guys are. But yeah, it's softer competition. You get a lot of people coming over from season long over there too. Just hey, yeah, if they accidentally hit the thing and daily pops up, and what the hell, I'll enter a lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Have you noticed anything playing some of these showdown slates on either site? We're going to take a look at the winning lineup, but is there anything that you wanted to point out in terms of like strategies that you're seeing from top players, or anything weird that you're seeing that's won? And then we'll quick take a look at Game 5's winning lineup. It was a 3-way split.
So, I mean, I haven't been killing it exactly in these. I've, full disclosure, I've always been clear and transparent about what's going on with my lineups when I do these things. And yeah, I've been getting smoked in these things, but I think, what we talk about on the shows always still holds up and makes sense. It's just a matter of landing on a lot of these slates on the guys who crank one out of the ballpark and hit a home run. That's really what it is. So it comes down to nailing the right guy there. Or if you get a big start from a pitcher, having that pitcher in the captain spot on DK has been, somewhat relevant. And I think we saw that in the last one that we're going to take a look at. I think one thing that I've noticed from some of the public lineups, just in, clicking on different lineups and sorting through some of the standings, I think people are maybe overreacting and overcompensating in the playing a pinch hitter, playing a reliever department. I think people are maybe going a little bit too far overboard with that. It's taking a big risk at putting a 0 into your lineup. And, and there's a lot of cost savings associated with it, of course, and you can build to specific things. But I was seeing lineups the other day that had 2 pinch hitters in them and the reliever, 2 pinch hitters, and then not necessarily the best construction. So it just, I don't know. I think people might be doing too much of that and not really focusing on guys who are in the starting lineup, likely to get 3 plate appearances.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely spots where you can take a chance at a pinch hitter, but you're seeing some of these guys getting like 3-4% ownership sometimes. And that's not something I'm willing to really chase for maybe one at bat. And you're a lot of times going to end up taking a 0, even if they do get the at bat. Okay, well, they still have to do something with it. And then they might get pinch hit for the Kike Hernandez, Jock Peterson thing. So it's worked out here and there, but not something I'm looking to chase. Looking at this winning lineup, 101.83 was the winning lineup. 3-way split in the 150K World Series Scuffle 50K to first. These guys split it for about 23K each. The winning lineup was in Game 5, Kershaw, Jock, Kiermaier, Margot, Muncy, and Yandy Diaz. A lot of chalky value players in the flex, so Jock, Diaz, and Kiermaier, but only duped with 2 other people. If you're looking at each individual user that won, the big key was getting the 11% owned Max Muncy home run. So some of these guys that are priced up that are like your home run hitters like Jock, or I'm sorry, not like Jock, he's more of a value guy, but Muncy, Betts, guys like that, if they do well, they are usually pretty low owned in the captain and the flex, just because people want to jam into pitchers. But if you can get 1 or 2 of those guys in your lineup, I think you're differentiating by also like you're sacrificing some in projection, but you are getting quite a bit different. And if you get the right guy that double dongs or has 4 RBI or something like that, you're smoking the field on those guys.
Yeah, and I think, when I say that I've been coming up short on a lot of these, that's kind of how I've been chasing the build, is trying to play some of those lower owned, higher priced hitters and get to the, the high quality of those guys. And like you said, you're taking a huge swath of the competition off the board because you're playing those low on guys. It's just that I haven't been on the right guy when he's happened to hit that home run. I did hit the Muncy home run in the props column the other day, so I was happy about that one for Game 5.
Do you have a props column coming out tonight? You want to pimp that out a little bit? I'm
going to have one coming up. Look for it later this afternoon, probably in the 3 to 4 o'clock window when the lineups are confirmed, but don't know what's going to be in it just yet. So check back to see.
Yeah, and you get those from OddsShopper. If you guys haven't been over to OddsShopper, go check that out. If you're into gambling at all, just like traditional sports gambling or betting props, people are making killings betting props. I know Lofty has done really well in his NFL props using OddsShopper. So if you're in a legal state and you have access to multiple books, get over to OddsShopper. It's completely free, and you can set up a dashboard with alerts for your picks and lines you want to watch. So we refer to some of these lines throughout the show. You can see Blake Snell's strikeout prop at 5.5, with the juice going to the over. So if you think that Snell is going to have a tough time with this Dodgers lineup, maybe you take the plus 120 on the under. Dodgers are a tough team to strike out anyway. So yeah, go check out OddsShopper. Whether you're betting MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, whatever it is, why not get the best price when you're looking to make some wagers here?
And check back for my odds column and see if I have the guts to double down on that 5.5 strikeout under for Blake Snell. That's the one I blew the last time around when he struck out 9. Same number.
All right. Well, we'll see. Maybe we can get it right this time. Let's get into this game. We've got the Rays and the Dodgers, as you guys know, about minus 135 for the Dodgers here. Slight favorites, even with Snell on the mound, going up against Gonsolin. 3.8 implied total for the Rays, 4.3 for the Dodgers. Snell struck out 9, as you mentioned, last time out against these Dodgers. That must have been, game 2, and the Rays did win that game. What are you looking at here? I believe he's going to see pretty much the same lineup as what he saw in game 2. You think he's going to do it again, or do you think the Dodgers get to him here?
So it depends. I mean, I think they probably pulled him an inning early in that last start. I mentioned he only threw 88 pitches, only went 4 2/3. So, maybe get another inning out of him this time around. And I think they'll probably look to do that. But I think this patient Dodgers team could definitely wait him out. If they draw 1 or 2 extra walks in that mix, if it's a similar kind of a start, he could get chased fairly early again here. So he's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's on. You mentioned that. Tremendous strikeout pitcher. This season overall, 11 starts, 50 innings, a 306 xFIP to a 324 ERA, and a 286 BABIP against. So, the numbers are right there. 31% strikeout rate, 15% swinging strikes. He was just excellent all year long. So I think he can definitely put up a very solid start. I don't know that we're going to see him hit that lofty 9 strikeout number again. That's asking a lot against this team. They were 9th in baseball with a 192 ISO this year, only a 20.7% strikeout rate, which is really the main story here. This is a patient lineup. They know how to work the count. They know how to get on base. So it's going to be a tough ask for him to repeat that performance of last time. So I don't know. I think the Dodgers could get to him. I don't know that they're going to blow him up. I'm not saying that, but I think they could put a couple runs on him and chase him around the 5th inning again, and the Rays could be in trouble from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love Snell in the captain spot just because you're going to be limited in what you can do with the rest of your roster. Like, you're going to end up on the same guys as everyone else. So when you're trying to avoid some of these. Dupes are inevitable, but when you're trying to avoid some of the most heavily duped lineups, you can see how it's easy to get a very heavily duped lineup with Snell and the captain. You end up on Meadows, you end up on some of the top owned guys in our ownership projections, which are out on the site right now. So just be careful if you're going to use him at captain. Try to move a piece or two around to make your lineup a little bit more unique. He doesn't project very well. from a value perspective, like we're usually looking for that 2x value. I know it's a little bit different with Showdown, but you'd like to see him at least at like 1.5. He's at a 1.4 value right now, 15.42 points. You guys can see the rest of our projections today for free. They are unlocked for the day. Maybe the last piece of premium content that's unlocked for MLB until whenever they have the next season. I'm assuming they're going to start pretty much on time, but go check all those out. Some crazy prices kind of all over the place. I think Snell's a little bit overpriced. Maybe that keeps his flex ownership down a little bit. I prefer to play him in the utility spot on DK. Let's talk about Gonsolin quick because he actually projects okay. The problem is he's 10-4 on DK, and he only went an inning and a third last time out, and he only threw 29 pitches. However, 3 days prior to that, he had thrown 41. So I have no clue what to really expect from Gonsolin in terms of how deep he can go. I'm assuming he can only go like 3-4 innings if things go perfectly. But what's your read on Gonsolin here? Is he someone you can consider at all on this slate?
I think that's probably a little high price for him on at that price on DK. Definitely for the captain's role, I think it's probably asking too much. I have him coming up just in the way that my model works. It gives me an innings projection that then I can change if I think a guy's going to get more or less or whatever based on news. And it came up basically right around the equivalent of 3, which is exactly where I was thinking he might get. He could go 5. I don't see a reason he wouldn't. He's on, decent rest. The last time I think he did come out early, but just, I don't know, based on just the managerial style, the way that this kid's been utilized, over time, I think there's a good chance we see a short start from him. So I just have trouble trusting it. He projects okay in his 3 innings. I think he's a good enough pitcher. He made 8 starts, 9 appearances this year. He's a guy who did get a little bit lucky. If you look under the covers, he had a 3.80 xFIP this year to a 2.31 ERA. Last season, it was a 4.90 xFIP to a 2.93 ERA. That said, it's only 86 2/3 innings in his entire career, and it comes down to a 4.31 xFIP to a 2.60 ERA with a 2.50 BABIP against. So there's some luck baked in there, but it's a 26.1% strikeout rate this year, 4% walk. So he's very good at limiting the walks. He's decent at striking guys out. If he gets 5, I think we could have a justifiable play in the util spot. I still don't think I want to pay up for him in the captain spot there. And I don't trust the fact that he's going to get 5. So it's really tricky. There's plenty of strikeouts in that Rays lineup, 26.4% strikeout rate against righties this year. They don't generate a ton of power. They were 178 ISO, which was 13th in the league. 104 plus puts them slightly above average creating runs. Or 104 WRC plus. I think I just said the word plus. So they're a decent lineup, but they're not great. So there's not a ton to fear for a right-handed pitcher in this spot. I think it really just boils down to those innings.
Yeah, the way I'm thinking about it here with Gonsolin is that not only do you have to, I think, get pretty lucky for him to go like 4 or 5 innings here, because they haven't really been treating him like a starter for the most part this postseason. So not only do you have to get lucky with how deep he goes, but I think you're also just basically betting against Snell having a good start because, well, if you play both of those two in utility, you were really limited. I don't even know if you can make that work. Maybe you can make it work in the utility and just jam in all the value bats, but people will do that. So that's something I'm going to try to avoid. He's $600 less than Snell. Like, it's not even that big of a discount. I think if he was priced where some of these hitters are, even in like the 8K range, then you'd have a more interesting talking point with Gonsolin. But there's a lot of unknown variables. Looking at his ownership, I think he's quite a bit over-owned for kind of the range of outcomes that he provides. So he would be someone I'd be looking to avoid. It doesn't really have anything to do with the matchup. I know you can strike out the Rays for sure, but you really need to thread the needle as far as him not only going deep, but racking up some strikeouts and then having relatively clean innings, and then Snell to underperform. So a lot of things need to go your way for Gonsolin. He's going to be someone I'm going to look to avoid, especially if his ownership keeps up to the spot where it's at right now. let's talk about some hitters here. The chalkiest player on the slate right now, projected to lead off, Austin Meadows, 5,800. Great value there on DraftKings. I don't really know how you avoid him here if you're building a handful of lineups. But if you do, you're definitely going to be different because he's projected to be in over half the lineups right now on DraftKings. Do you see anything that would make you want to fade Meadows? It is a scary one.
Yeah, I mean, nothing about Meadows or the matchup that would make me want to fade him. It would just be that the fact that he's going to be in nearly 60% of all lineups on DK. You're instantly different from so many people just by making the decision not to put him in there, that it kind of makes sense to just, start your lineup with Brandon Lowe and pretend that he's not there. That said, he's an excellent hitter. He's a guy I really like to go to, and that price is fantastic. 8,700 is ridiculous for him. So definitely like him. Love the fact that he's in the leadoff spot. You might pick off an extra plate appearance from him. Tremendous spot. This is a guy that hit 33 home runs, stole 12 bases last year in 591 plate appearances. This year, 152 plate appearances. He was in and out of the lineup, only hit 4 home runs, stole 2 bags, but he's a tremendous player. So I definitely, when he's in the lineup, I like to get to him. It's just going to be, how can we build with him and make it different from at least enough people that we're not chopping with everyone under the sun. We're maybe just chopping with 2 people like the other day's winner. So that's really what it boils down to. So if you're sticking him in your lineup, definitely immediately start thinking about something else that you can do dramatically different from the field.
So the way I'm looking at it here, and I know 1v1s aren't super interesting, but when you look at the ownership projections, just trying to find some sort of pivot off of Meadows. So again, he's 5,800. You build a lineup and you stick in Meadows as your last guy in or your first guy in or whatever. And then if you have an extra couple $100, maybe dropping down to Kike Hernandez, he doesn't project as that. He's a much worse play, quote unquote, than Meadows from a projection standpoint. But he's a guy that does hit lefties well. If he hits a home run off of Snell, you're crushing it as long as Meadows doesn't do the same. So I think at double the ownership, just dropping down from Meadows to Kike or Austin Barnes. I know he stinks as a hitter, but one of those 2 cheap guys, if you 1v1 swap them, it's a low probability outcome or lower, but they're going to get a decent amount of opportunities. It's not like NBA or something where they're going to play 5 minutes and you need them to just go nuts. Kike is probably going to get 2 to 3 at bats until Jock comes in for him, if he does come in for him. And the ownership discount is pretty nice. So that would be one pivot I would look to make. You could even go to someone on the same team. You build a great lineup with Meadows, and then you swap him out for Zunino and just hope that he can hit a home run or Kiermaier or someone like that. So if you're just building by hand, that's something to consider. Just take the ownership stand. But all things considered, I think Meadows is still rightfully one of the more popular players. You rarely get a leadoff hitter at this price on a showdown slate that projects for the second most points of any hitter on the slate behind Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Dodgers. At that number, he's the play of the slate for sure. Yeah. I mean, that's it's tough to get away from just like you opened with. Just look at his price compared to essentially everybody on the Dodgers except for the 2 bargain guys that you mentioned, and it becomes so obvious that he's the go-to guy here. I think Kike makes some sense as far as that goes. You do have the late pinch hit risk. We saw Barnes get there the other day. He hit a home run in game 4, I think, pretty late. Kind of a meaningless home run, but he did get there. So those are guys that could do it. And then just glancing around at price-wise at other guys, if you pay up a little bit to a 7K Manny Margot, you get pretty different on the ownership. And he's a guy who's also on the Rays in that spot. Depending on where he's hitting in the lineup, we've seen him hit all the way at the top of the lineup. We've seen him hit in the middle of the lineup. So it depends on where he is. The projected has him 5th. I like him in that spot. So I think you can see some production out of Manny Margot there, just to throw out another name that's a little bit less owned in a not the same price range, but also not paying all the way up kind of a price range.
Yeah. The Rays are just crazy cheap compared to some of these Dodgers. So one thing I would consider on this slate, just because of the Dodgers pricing, is I don't think there's going to be a lot of lineups tonight that have 3 to 4 Dodgers hitters. I think a lot of people are going to jam in either Kike, Barnes as a last man in, and then mostly focus on the Rays bats, especially because the Rays have the better pitcher. So one thing I would consider is like 5-man Dodgers hitter stacks tonight. And again, you're betting against Snell. Like, it's never super fun, but if he can somehow get pulled 2-3 innings, he ends up with 6 DK points. That's not going to be enough for him to be in the optimal. And then you just have an onslaught of Dodgers hitters. So if you can make that work with the pricing, like Turner and Muncy's prices are reasonable. And if you're not slamming in a pitcher, Gonsolin or Snell, if you're worried about how long Gonsolin is, it sounds like we are, then going with a 4-man or 5-man Dodgers hitter stack is something I would consider here when I'm almost always trying to jam in a pitcher. I think it does make sense to go with the hitter stack here.
Yeah, it makes sense. And just as you were saying that, I was just pulling up DK Cruncher, and I just ran one with some randomness applied and like a 55% individual cap, and just scrolling through it, just, casually, the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the top 8 owned players are all Rays. The top like 15, only Mookie and AJ Pollock have snuck in there in the top 10, 12 on the list here. Everything is mostly light blue in all these lineups as I'm scrolling through. So to your point, yeah, if you just start with the premise of I'm going to stick at least 3 Dodgers in every lineup, you're going to be different than a lot of people just from that. If you go up to 4, go up to 5, you're going to be very different.
Yeah, and as you were saying that, I was just hand building a lineup. I don't often hand build, but it does help if you guys don't have access to ownership projections. If you just have access to projections, this isn't going to be like an optimal lineup, but you can get good lineups with like a Justin Turner captain if you fade both pitchers. But I think I consider it just basically fading Snell. So I would do this on a bunch of lineups tonight if I was making like 150 or even like 5 to 20 lineups, something like that. I would mix in some full Dodgers stacks. Hope you get to Snell. And these Dodgers continue to hit how they've hit basically all postseason. So, yeah, I mean, every slate is going to be.
I got 0 lineups with both pitchers. Just to answer that question you threw out before. I don't know if you can get there, but Cruncher didn't get there across 300 lineups.
Let's see. You can make it work, man. You can barely make it work. You're going to end up with like a Rays stack. Basically in like either Kike or someone in captain, or one of these low priced like Meadows captain. But people are going to play that if they're not careful with optimizers, and then you're left with. So if you put Meadows at captain, Snell, Gonsolin, you're left with 6,600 remaining for each util spot. So you're basically out on Dodgers hitters besides Kike. And then you just got to jam in the value that everyone else is going to jam in. So that'd be something.
Yeah, and if you're just thinking about, once you start down that path with those 3, with Meadows and the 2 pitchers, Meadows captain and the 2 pitchers, just the lanes available for you to even walk down are so limited. And everybody who has that construction, everybody who starts with that is going to be looking at the same 5 options for construction or whatever it really boils down to mathematically. And if you guys think out there about the total number of people that are in these tournaments, think about how much every single person, every one of those options is going to be used up. So it just doesn't make sense to build that way. Every single possibility is going to be repeated.
Yeah. So I think the important thing here is, as always, avoid the heavily duped lineups. Try to avoid the most popular roster constructions because then, again, you're going to just avoid dupes. I really like a bunch of hitters in captain. Like if you go up to, if you're not going to Snell, so if you go up to like Seager or Betts in captain, they're super overpriced from a median projection standpoint. However, you're looking for one outlier event, and those are 2 great options that have done it a bunch of times this postseason. And then just kind of fill in with a couple bats, maybe take a reliever you like. I don't know if we have any. Yes, we do have some projected. We've got 4 relievers projected. No, 5 in the Awesemo.com projections built by the number 1 player in DFS, Jansen, Fairbanks, Anderson, Blake Trainin, and Pedro Baez. So all those guys projected for over a point. If you feel good about one of them getting in the game, maybe you punt with one of those guys as a way to differentiate and load up on some of these Dodgers hitters. but you're going against Snell. So it's not going to be fun either way. I think if you're building a lineup you're 100% comfortable with, you're probably doing something wrong on these showdown slates. If you're playing large field tournaments, the lottery style tournaments with 50K to first, 150K in total prizes. So what's your plan tonight? How many lineups do you think you're going to be building?
I haven't gotten that far yet. I basically broke even on the football single gamer last night, so I might just double back down and throw that back on the fire and see if I can't burn it tonight. So we'll see what happens, but I'll have a good handful in. I've been playing not full slate of entries in the higher priced tournaments, trying to pick off something big. But yeah, I'll definitely dive into to some. I can't sit out the potentially last baseball slate of the year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the 20 max and just try to build some unique lineups or some with like a couple dupes and hope I catch a break at the end. But I'm going to try to jam in as many Dodgers hitters as possible. I think in the Snell lineups that I have him in, and now that I'm thinking through it, I think I said I don't want him in captain as much, but I think I like the build better with him in captain, just trying to avoid some of these dudes. You're going to end up with like a couple of Meadows and Kiermaier and Zunino and those type of guys. But if you can get one or two big Dodgers bats in a Snell captain lineup, I don't think that's going to be very popular. So something I'll play around
Snell with like Snell and then paying up for two of those Dodgers bats like you're talking about definitely is going to be an offbeat kind of approach. So that's interesting actually. I like that thought. Because even if you get, we saw him strike out 9 over 4 2/3, like we said the other day. So even if you get that in the front end, you could still pick off 2 home runs on the back from a Seager and a Muncy or somebody like that and get out pretty good. Yeah.
And Cancer 33 says, don't shy away from the lefties from the Dodgers. 100%. Yep. So these guys can all hit lefties well for their careers. Muncy, Seager, and Cody Bellinger. We know what those guys can do. So yeah, don't worry about handing this as much with the lefty-lefty matchup too. People that look into that will avoid those guys. So their ownership probably isn't as high as what it should be.
Yeah, definitely. You think think there's any chance we see Yarbrough come out of the pen? He only went 3 1/3, and it was 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Just trying to think of other names that might come out of the pen.
That could be. I mean, it's a do or die game, right? So
yeah, I'm thinking like tie game, low leverage situation, tie game going into the 6th, something like that. I think we could see him come out of the pen.
What's his price at? Do we know?
Not sure.
Let me see. I got DK pulled up. Yarbrough. Wait, remove non-probables. You got to do that. 9,800. Ooh, wow. So
even if he does, I don't think we're going to be playing with that price.
Yeah, tough. I would just throw in one of these relievers that Alex has projected in the bottom. They're all 4,200 to 5,600. So they're lower priced than basically every hitter besides Austin Barnes. But yeah, DK is really pricing up some of these guys that probably won't even pitch. So they're making it tough on us.
If you're looking for a reliever, those are the guys that it makes sense to go to in that case. I had no idea Yarbrough was priced like that when I brought him up. But you want to pay $5,000 for a guy who might pitch an inning or an inning and 2/3 and strike out 4 or 5 guys. That's what we're looking for with those relievers.
Yep.
Has anybody in the chat thrown out it's happened in the last couple times. Has anybody thrown out a Mookie Betts sucks against lefties comment yet?
I have not seen any. I've been monitoring chat somewhat.
It's happened the last few times. That is just a complete misnomer. People keep saying that. He had a rough year this year. He wasn't great last year, but just to settle it, for his career, he's a 297, 379, 509 hitter with a 212 ISO, a WRC plus 33% above average against lefties for his career, 34 home runs in 925 plate appearances. Mookie Betts is excellent against lefties, so that's just nice.
He's doing okay.
I didn't get a chance to say that last time, so.
Yeah. There you go. Shut that down before it even gets talked about. 153 of you watching. Thank you guys for tuning in for potentially the last MLB DFS strategy show for a while. I see a bunch of you already hit the like button. We want your subscription to, not only to Awesemo.com. If you're so inclined, go check out our MLB packages. Go check out our NFL Express package with all of our showdown content now added onto it just for no extra price. We just beefed it up just to give more people a chance to get access to great showdown tools, $3.95 a week. We also want your subscription to the YouTube channel, and that costs you nothing. Just about 2 seconds of your time, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, and you don't miss out on any of our free content. Coming up, again, check out those MLB projections. Those are free today. Potentially the last time you're going to get a free MLB tool. Coming up, let me pull up the schedule real quick. We've got a bunch of shows in the works. Lofty, Saul, and Ben will break down the week 8 first look. Already week 8. Man, we're like halfway through the season. It's already flown by. Ben Raza, Tim Frank will break down the golf slate, the tournament. I'm missing out on that name. The name's escaping me, but I will let you guys figure that one out. That's coming up at 2:30 Eastern. And then tonight, Josh and Adam, 7:15 Eastern, leading you up to lock, 8:08 lock time. You got those extra couple minutes with Josh and Adam. Those guys will break it down, their strategies, their exposures, and everything like that. Other than that, thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll hopefully see you back here tomorrow for Game 7, and Kershaw can close it out for those Dodgers. Good luck, everybody.